How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to On the Mic with Joe C. If you haven't been tuning into On the Mic with Joe C, welcome to the show. I greatly appreciate that you're here. I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into this one. And my next guest, he was born and raised in the city of Commerce and now lays his roots in one of my favorite cities of Covina, California. He's worked for the state for the last 31 years. He's created a nonprofit organization that helps bring food, haircuts, medical services, and toys to kids in Baja California that has now been going on for the last 21 years. And for the last 12 years, he's also been bringing toys every Christmas to kids and projects all over the Los Angeles area. I'm super excited to introduce my next guest, Martin Resendez.
How you doing, everyone?
Hey, we're fucking doing good. I'm telling you, this is the second episode I've said I got to get that little button that goes... right? Like, I got to get that shit going on because sometimes the intro's a little like, oh, where are the claps? Where are the claps?
Yeah.
So what's up, Martin? How's everything?
Everything's going well.
Man, bro.
Busy but well.
Busy,
Yeah,
man.
always
Busy, man. So that everybody knows, my intention for bringing Martin on the show and my intention for bringing you on the show is last year I was actually part of a charity event that you do. And this charity event was massive, right? Like, this thing was massive. And after kind of just seeing everything that probably goes, that I'll never even know that goes on, like onto how to manage these charities and how to put them together, and just the length of time that you've been doing, I was like, dude, I gotta pick this guy's brain. Right? Like, I gotta pick this guy's brain, right? And so with that said, one of the things I really want to start off with is you have a nonprofit organization, right, for the last 24 years that I know as RD4C, which
Correct.
stands for Rolling Deep for Children.
Actually, for charities.
For charities.
Yes.
Okay. Rolling Deep for Charities.
That's correct.
Okay. And you've been doing that for the last 21 years, right?
21 years, yes.
Cool. So what I want to start off is for anybody that doesn't know what you guys are, has never heard about your organization, if you were to like paint a picture for them of what RD4C does, how it works, where it started, and the impact it makes and you're committed to making, how would you create that for us?
Well, we could talk about it, how it got started, or we could talk about what the organization is. But let me take you back to the very beginning. What actually inspired me and my wife to get this organization off the ground. I've been riding for 35 years. Harley Davidson. I started off riding street bikes like everyone else, at least most of us.
Most of us, yeah.
And we were at Rosarito. So I had a group about maybe 60, 80 of us that would ride. But that weekend, we were at Rosarito, and we were at a place called Rock and Roll Taco, which is no longer there. But the manager goes, hey, you see a couple of your bikes right here, And I asked him, I see all these kids passing by asking for money, selling chiclets, and, the mothers, with his kids and asking for money, asking for food. So, you know what, maybe I could do something to help them out. Maybe bring some shoes, some clothing, and not just give them money, but, take it a little further than that. So I talked to the manager of the place. Hey, how do you feel about us having an event here? And maybe bringing the mayor over or something from DEEF, which is DEEF stands for, it's an organization like we have here in the States, maybe like the Social Security, welfare, something to that nature. So they help out the low privileged kids in the local area. And DEEF, they have them in every city in Mexico. So it's a very well-known organization. So he says, you know what, I think I could do something. So we had an event. I just spearheaded it and figured, you know what, if I invite a couple of bikes, maybe a couple of flyers, maybe I'll get some people down there. And I think I had about 101, maybe 110 people.
Your first event?
My first event. It was
21 years ago.
Yes.
Jeez.
LA area, a lot of people from San Diego area, even the Inland Empire. It was just random. So we met, we rode out there together, had a great event, no problems. And right outside, the actual DEEF representative, I guess the first lady, which is always in charge of DEEF, was there handing out shoes. I got toys donated. I donated clothing. I also made a donation for a local charity organization that helps the boys and girls in that area. So it went well. So we just continued going going every year and getting bigger and bigger. But the real reason why we started all of this was because my mother-in-law was an orphan. And my mother-in-law never had a doll. I mean, I mean this. She never had a doll. And we talk about this, in family gatherings. And I think it took us to, I think it was our 10th year anniversary of our Rosarito run when we presented her with maybe like a 2-foot doll. And we gave it to her. And let me tell you, she cried. Because that's when I really found out that she never really did get a doll.
Wow.
And expressed the gratitude to all of us. I've been very lucky. I've had a great mother-in-law and very supportive in what we do. And so it's good to give back, and it just thrives me to help out a lot of more children, maybe a lot more orphans actually in Mexico.
So what I'm hearing is the idea of the project started on a visit to Rosarito, right? And seeing, the children and wanting to give back in a different way other than money.
Correct.
And am I getting like what kept the organization going, or as an extension, you guys started directing that attention to orphans?
Well, I was always for the I would say underprivileged kids always.
Okay.
Because when you work with DEEF, they have like a manifest of all the kids what areas are poorer than others, and we would depend on them to guide us on which areas we were going to go every year. It was never the same place. I mean, we've gone up the hills in Mexico, and we've been in parts of Mexico and Rosarito that our bikes almost, are pretty hard to travel on dirt roads,
gravel,
potholes,
dirt.
gravel. But we did it because everybody had the same mindset that we're doing this for the kids. And once you actually go and be part of it, you'll see where all the donations go, where all the money is being donated is going, where everything that we struggle all year to make this event successful happens, and you'll be part of it, and you'll see the great gratitude you get back for helping these kids. So of course every year it just gets bigger and bigger because the people who actually went the year prior are actually going the year
back
after
again.
that. It spreads like wildflower when you're doing something well and doing something good. There's still a lot of good people out there. And if it wasn't for them, I call them my sponsors, I call them my friends, I call them just people being involved. You know where this is going, and you know why we're doing this, and you want to be part of it. This gravitates all the good people around.
It's such a trip, man. I literally just made a post today where it says, you'll find what you look for. If you look for bad, you'll find bad. No problem. You'll get it.
Well
right?
said.
If you look for good, you'll find good. No problem. You'll get it. Right? Like it's abundant either way. Right? Like and so for you to say like when you go and you do something good, right? Just the same way gossip spreads super quick.
Oh my God.
Right? I think people are forgetting that it goes in the opposite way too. You do good, right? May it be harder, not because it's harder, but because we're not used to it, right? Like we're not conditioned to always be doing good. Correct. So I don't think it's harder. We're just not conditioned to do it all the time. I think if you do it, like you said, it just spreads.
And I also have to thank my parents because I was raised right. I was raised that when you see somebody that you could help who's not doing as well as you are, give them a hand. And I think that's why God has blessed me so much and made this organization so successful. Because I believe that we could all do this. You could do your own organization. Yeah. And this person could do their organization. I always say, get off the sidelines, get in the game.
Wow. Get on the court, man.
Do something. Don't just talk about it. Don't just criticize what I do. Get involved. See what I actually do. And what I mean by that is I've had, every person, every organization comes with criticism. And one of my biggest ones was, what do you do for the kids in LA? Why are you just helping the kids in Mexico? Okay. So I started helping kids in LA. I started with the Ramona Gardens run. It was an event in December where we donate all these toys. I reach out to all my friends that ride, different clubs, different independent riders. Hey, help me out. Give back to the people of the projects of Ramona Gardens. So I did that successfully for 3 years, where it just got too big. And I'm very happy to say I've been doing it ever since inside Dodger Stadium. I've been,
yes.
and not only am I doing the toy run in Dodger Stadium and helping the Ramona Gardens kid, I'm helping every projects in LA, not just one. This is how much it's grown. So I'm very proud of that.
Wow. One thing I want to get curious about that you said is you want to thank your parents, right? Like that they raised you in a way where you were able to see opportunity in helping others, right? I've been to your events and I've gotten to meet a lot of the really awesome people that go to these events. And one of the things that I believe, right, as my own personal opinion, is that there's a lot of people even that go into your events that may have not had that privilege or that blessing of having parents that guided them that way, right? And like you said, anybody can go out and start an organization. So for someone that, in your experience, based off of conversations you've had, because I'm sure you've had them with these people, right?
Of course.
Based off of your experience and your conversations, what do you say to someone who maybe didn't have that blessing of parenting in a way that guided them through love? Like how does someone like that, see opportunity in helping the rest of the world?
Okay, I'll give you an answer for that, because it's funny you would mention that particular question. At Rosarito, I met this individual 3 years ago. I mean, because you can't really talk to every single person, because this event brings people from 4 different states, maybe even 5 different states, and so I'm sometimes we're shaking hands, saying hello. They know my name, I don't know their name, but I would like to meet everybody. But this certain individual keeps on thanking me, and now I know him personally. His name's Jose, who tells me thank you very, very much. To me, it's 3 years ago, and I go, oh, you're welcome. I'm trying to help out these kids, do something. No, you don't understand. I was one of those kids. I'm from this city in Rosarito, in Tijuana, and I was in line at the donation line for a toy. Sometimes there wasn't enough toys. So I'm one of those kids. Now I'm successful. I'm a truck driver, and I'm here every year. Here's my donation for these kids. I just want to thank you for what you're doing, because I really know how these kids feel. And that just encouraged me to do even more. 2 years ago, we built a park up in the high hills. I can't even tell you where it was or how to even get there. I was escorted by the police at the DEEF. That this was supposed. There's still no running water, from my understand. But they have a well, and we actually built the park, and that's just the beginning. Besides of what we're giving toys and medical supplies and other stuff that we do for the kids every year, is that I want to do a park or a soccer field or something for the low-income family that cannot come down to the local parks in Rosarito and stay in their actual, I call them their village or their areas or whatever you may want to call it, and do something, do more. And I think we could accomplish anything if we just stick together and stick to the plan and just pay it forward.
Pay it forward. I think that's huge. I think for the question that I asked, what I'm really hearing in what you're saying is just be a contribution, right? Even if you didn't grow up that way, if you could just create actions where you're a contribution, it will steamroll. You'll get to have that experience of what it's like to give. Right?
I agree. And let me tell you, it's addicting.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure it is, right?
It's very addicting.
And like we were saying a little while ago, it goes both ways, right? Like just like gossip and pessimism is addicting, right? Like in complaining, that's addicting, right? So is the other, right? When you start getting a taste of that and how good it feels and how great your environment becomes, right? Like that's addicting too.
And then once you actually get involved and you see everything, let me tell you, you don't want to stop. You want to do more and more and more. If you have that time and you have that energy, you have that, what's that word I'm looking for? That
drive,
good, thank you. That drive, you could really accomplish anything. And if you have help, to get you to the next step, it just makes it a little easier.
Oh yeah. I mean, speaking of help, man, like, so I went to this event in Rosarito with you guys last year, and there was thousands of people there, right? There was thousands of bikes, right? And you can fit more than one person on a bike, and you can also, and you also don't need a bike to go to these events,
That's
right?
correct.
I didn't have one,
That's
and so
correct.
there was thousands of motorcycles. I could just imagine the totality of people in general that were there for this event, right? Like, dude, I have challenges sometimes managing 10 people at my barber shop. Like, how does that work, right? Like, I know it takes a team for you to do this. Like you said, if you can get people to help you, it'll make it easier, right? Based off of what I've seen of these events, not just the Rosarito one, but I also attended the one in Dodger Stadium, right? Like, I believe a team is necessary. How do you manage these events, and what does it take?
Well, you have to understand that all these people around me that basically have been there around me for years, it takes, we all have to be in the same page, and we have to have the same, believe in the same outcome. And also, loyalty is everything. Loyalty is everything, because not only can they not help you, they could sabotage some of the stuff that you're trying to do for the better good. Because there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of negativity from people, rumors, and stuff like that, where it just it just poisons the organization, and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Okay.
The bigger you get, like that song says, the more
More money, more problems.
Exactly. So, but how we manage it is people really believe in what we do. They've been part of it for many years, and I'm telling you, they without them, I'm nothing. I can't do anything by myself. It's crazy, you know. I do most of the leadership, but without them, I cannot accomplish my goals. You know, it's very stressful at times. You know, during the close crunch time to an event, you know, me and my wife, we argue, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pressure on us, a lot of decision making, and but I'm glad that she stuck it out with me, and we're just making this organization much bigger every year. More sponsors, more volunteers, more things that we could actually do for more kids, and change it up, and do. I mean, the sky's the limit.
One thing that comes up for me is actually, well, here, before I share this with you, I want to ask you something. I get that maybe monetarily you might not really benefit anything from this event, right?
No.
But for you, what do you really get? Like, I want to know, like, what is there for Martin, right? Like, at the end, after all the stress, after all of this, all of that, right? There's no monetary value present. What's present for Martin?
Satisfaction that I was able to accomplish what I did for the kids. I mean, how could you put a price tag on that? Honestly, how could you? Okay, like I said, I could talk about this all day long.
Yeah.
All I could tell you is about the experiences of what I had.
course.
And you've experienced
I
it
have.
for yourself. Like, I'll give you one example of many. You know, we take bicycles to the kids.
Yes,
and
a shit
Rosarito.
ton.
And the toy run. Okay, we do both. Okay, but so how we do it in Rosarito, we get a ticket, and I usually give it to, no, not usually, I always give it to people who got involved, bought a bike, and are there to help out with the organization and give open toys, and so I give them a ticket. I could no longer do it. I did it for the first 2 years. And how do you say no to a kid when he's pulling on tugging on your hands? Please, can I get a bike? Mister, can I please have a bike? It breaks your heart. You want to give a bike to everyone.
Every kid.
Every single kid. You know, so we started giving out, you know, I believe 20 bikes only, because we actually put out most of the money in toys and school supplies and medical supplies in the backpacks, you know, sanitary products, because we want to make sure every kid does not walk away with nothing. Every kid gets something. So what we do now is starting off with getting 20 bikes. I think now we're at 155 bicycles that we give out.
So only because I've been to both events.
That's just an added to the toys, by the way.
Okay, and so I've been to both events, right? The one at Dodger Stadium and the one at Rosarito. Are you saying you guys get 150 bikes for both events or each event?
Oh, no. At Dodger Stadium, I think we had 300 bikes. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about every year is different.
Yeah.
Depending how much donations we get. But I'm talking about we try to get a lot. We're at a maximum level that we've ever been last year. And I'm talking about maybe this goal, I might get 300 bicycles for Rosarito.
Wow.
We don't know. Because you got to also remember this transportation is an issue. We're going to a different country. It's a lot of paperwork and it's a lot of bureaucracy. I've been lucky all these years that we're able to get them across, even if we got to pay taxes. But that's not here nor there, as long as the kids
get it.
Yeah.
So there's one thing that I thought was really cool that you said right now. I asked you, how do you manage that team? Like, how do you manage that amount of people to be on the same page and do things, right? And what I got from your answer was that they all have to see the same vision as you. They all have to believe in the same thing, right? In your experience so far, what is one of the best ways that you've seen people get to feel that experience, to where once they see it or once they go or once they do the thing, that there's no denying the vision that you have?
Okay, that's also an easy question. At Rosarito, well, I'm going to say anywhere. When you see a biker, you actually take a step back. If you walk a bunch of bikes walk in and they end up at a restaurant, they end up at a bar, I'm sure that there's some people that just say, oh my God, look at all these bikers with their shades on. And they think the words that they're gangbangers or whatever that's going through their head.
Absolutely. That was another. I'm so glad you're talking about this shit, because that was one thing I was going to say. Like, I've been to these events, and like, even though like once I'm at these events, I see how like dope a lot of these people are, right? Mm-hmm. But like for me, like I see, bikers, and I think like biker gangland, or I think like criminal or hoodlum, or like, because I mean they got all the fucking brochas and they're fucking right, the bandanas, the big old jeans. Like what we usually stereotype is you stay away from these people, right? Yeah. At least that's the way we grow up, right?
You should see how I look with a bandana and shades on. You know me. But point is, bikers get a bad rap. I think lowriders get a bad rap. I think everybody gets a bad rap because they don't know them. They don't know their background. They don't get to know them, actually. They would rather just walk away and not even get to know them. But where I'm getting at is that when these kids give out toys, the bikers that we're talking about, when you see them actually put their glasses down because they're actually crying of how happy and how much more they could do, that's where their heart is. They're human beings, just like you and I. They're no different. You may think they're different, but they're not. They all have hearts. And let me tell you, that's to answer your question. When I see that, I'm like, I'm doing something right.
Wow. So attend one of your events and see what goes on.
You have to come to my events and actually just be part of it. Get the joy that we do. Get the joy of making these kids smile. It's a heart jerker. It's a great feeling. It's an inspiring feeling, and you will get more involved even in your own community once you see these kids smile and you're giving back, and how fulfilling it is.
I bet, man. I bet. I was having a conversation literally just earlier today. Shout out to my client, Anthony Mano. That guy's dope. We always have some cool conversations. But the conversation that we were having, that I was sharing with him, as my opinion, not as a fact. There's nothing to believe here, guys. As my opinion, I believe that everything is for self. What I mean by this, right? What I mean by this is that the way I actually started that conversation with Anthony was I was thinking, something was in my mind, like a little saying, which was, I think a thank you should always be given and never be expected, right?
Well said.
That a thank you should always be given and never be expected. And so what I was having a conversation with him about was that, like, if I do something for someone, right? If I am a contribution to someone else, or at least I create that action that I just did was a contribution, I've already won. Before that person acknowledges anything, says anything, right? I've already won one of two ways. One, I just paid off some of my karma debt, right? With that action that I create myself to be a contribution, I just paid off some of my karma debt. A lot of the good karma that I've gotten, I just gave some of it back. Or if I'm overflowed with karma, I just add it to my karma wallet, right? So either way, whichever direction it goes, whether I'm paying off my karma debt or accumulating more karma debt, before you even open your mouth to acknowledge me or say thank you or anything, I've already won. Therefore, your thank you, your acknowledgement is extra.
Correct.
Right? It's just extra. Correct. Because the way that I see it, that act that I did is satisfying to me. Yes, does it help? Like, for example, I'm going to take RD4C. Yes, does it help kids all over Baja California? Absolutely. Yes, do kids smile? Yes, do kids get opportunities that they may have never had it not been for RD4C? Kids in Los Angeles, in the projects, do they get toys? Yes. Does all this stuff happen? Absolutely. There's no denying any of that stuff. And what Martin gets to die with now is that experience of gratitude, that experience of joy of giving, that experience that nobody, no matter how grateful or ungrateful they are, will never take it from Martin, right? And so ultimately, at the end, when it's all said and done, who's the one that gets the real value out of that contribution? And it's you. You won before you even fucking gave it.
I'm not that guy who wants to thank you. I just want an acknowledgement. Sometimes I do things and I don't want, for example, I'm that guy that goes to the drive-thru and I see this girl stumbling from her purse to get a coffee. Here, the coffee's on me and I drive away. I don't want her to stop by and just say thank you. I've done it at the bottom of my heart. I don't even know. I probably will never see you again.
Yeah.
You know? And we don't only help the kids. We've helped out different people. I mean, people are going through a rough time. I don't know if you know that me and my wife, we sponsor a family for Thanksgiving. We sponsor a family for Christmas. And we don't share that. We share it sometimes, but for a reason. If I'm doing it, you could do it. Why don't you sponsor a family? Why don't you sponsor a family for Thanksgiving? It's very simple. Mm-hmm. Don't go to a bar for one day. Save that money and sponsor a family. You know, we could all do it. I'm not doing it for gratitude. I'm doing it to expose what we're doing, and you could do the same thing. It just happened in my event I just had 2 weeks ago at the car show. This vendor was having a hard time. I told him, don't worry about it. I got you. Really? Yeah, don't worry about it. Can you believe after the event she came up to me and told me, Martin, I just wanted to tell you thank you. It went very well. Here's my money. Wow. I was having a hard time. See, people like that, that's real to me. That's real. You know what we did? Not only that she kept her money, we gave her an additional more money. We gave her additional money. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what we gave her, but because that's real. She's not asking for nothing. She wants to give it. And we were able to help her and bless her with more than what she came with. So that things like that, oh my God, that just makes my day. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Karma is strange. As soon as we walked inside, this person that wasn't even there sent the money to somebody else to give to us for our organization because she couldn't make it. See, who does that? Wow. Believers do that believe in what we do. So, I mean, like I said, I've just been very blessed to be doing what I do for so long. And I'm going to continue doing this for as long as I can, to as long God gives me the strength to do it.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that.
Yeah. It's amazing sometimes how God works in mysterious ways, man.
The one thing that has been in my space for a while now which is, I've kind of had conversations, throughout my life, right? I was part of a street motorcycle crew when I was younger,
Okay.
right? It was one of the bigger ones in Southern California, which I don't believe is even around anymore.
Okay.
But with that experience, I did also have the experience that bikers, although it is a big community, right? It is a big community, right? And I experienced it for 9 years riding a motorcycle. I passed by another motorcycle and you
Yeah.
throw up the deuces, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the Jeeps, right? They do
Yeah.
that shit to each other. The motorcyclists, they do that too.
Okay.
Regardless of like most of the time nobody has like colors or anything, but like you say what's up
I
to
get it.
motorcyclists.
Yeah.
So
You know what that means, though, right?
what does that mean?
It just means you respect.
Yeah.
It's a
yes.
respect thing. That's
yes.
all it is.
Absolutely. So with that said, right, I did see that at your events. There is motorcycle crews from everywhere and so many different ones. I've believed for a while, this could just be a stereotype, but I think I've experienced some stuff, right? Where not all motorcycle crews get along with each other, right? Like some of them like beef with each other, you could say. What has that been like? Have you ever had to manage that? Or what has your experience been of all of these different motorcycle clubs being in one place?
Well, to be clear, I am not from a motorcycle club.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to answer your question, how do I manage that? Well, I think that I've been very lucky because the respect that I have for them and the respect that they have for me, that we usually don't have problems in my events. Everybody just is there for the one reason. They're just there to have a good time.
Wow.
So
What I'm hearing is that vision you were talking about earlier, man, right? Like it's almost like the colors get put to the side when the vision is clear, is at least what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Right? Like when the vision of what you're up to is clear, you kind of just put everything else aside for that time being, and then
I like to just keep the peace, and it's a mutual thing.
Yeah, and just support the vision.
Yes, correct.
Speaking of the vision, I did hear you say earlier, all of the events I do throughout the year that then, in a sense, culminate to the Dodger Stadium or the Rosarito run.
Correct.
I've only been to the Dodger Stadium one and the Rosarito one, and one that you did in the city of La Puente.
Uh-huh.
But I believe, based off of what I've gotten from you, is that there's more than that. What other events do you do to help support RD4C?
Well, we have an annual car show that we just had at the Elks. We have it's called the Hogfest, which is coming up. With a plug in, it's coming in on July the 14th.
Okay.
It's called Hogfest, and it's going to happen at the La Puente Handball Club. So that's a huge, it's 2-acre lot, beautiful location, and everybody's there to have a good time. We have a stage, we have several bands, we have a water dunking contest, it's plenty of shade, and a lot of cold drinks, great DJs, and just a day to have a good time and relax.
So is there also food at these events?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you.
For somebody who's never been to Hogfest,
okay.
So right now I'm actually going to invite everybody. If you're near the city of La Puente, check out, you guys call it Hogfest?
Yes,
July 14th. Hogfest at where is it located?
Yeah, the La Puente Handball Club.
La Puente Handball Club.
And they could get all this information on RD4C.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. We'll give you all of like your contact information at the end. But for somebody who is listening to this and says, I want to check out this Hogfest, what can they expect?
Well, imagine going to a beautiful, it's a park scenery.
Okay.
So it's grass, like I said, it's a whole acre and another acre for parking lot and plenty of shade. And there's vendors from all over LA. Great food. And what I do with all my vendors that makes them so successful in my events, that they want to continue going to my events, is you want to see 3 or 4 or 5 taco vendors. I may have one, so you could try their food. I may have some seafood vendors on this one. I may have a michelada vendor on this side. I have a barbecue guy on this guy. Chicken, jerk chicken on this side. So like that, everybody tries something different. So if you're in the mood for a cocktail, you go to this guy. You want a taco, you go to this side. So besides that, imagine seeing over 1,000 people under the sun, just having a great time, listening to music. It's that kind of concert in the park, and great DJs. We have a full bar, kind of cool drinks, great vendors with craft vendors everywhere. So you always go home with something, and it's always with a smile, I hope, and maybe a little buzz.
A smile and a buzz.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
That's awesome. So we got the Hogfest. You just did one recently. What was that one?
That was the car show.
The car show. So we got the car show, Hogfest. What other events do you guys do throughout the years?
And then we also do, to gear up, we have little like bike nights, different locations, which we always change locations because we don't like to burn the spot. We like everybody we like to be unique and have different events at different locations and new locations as well. So everybody, our followers could go to a new location and experience it. There might be a new restaurant that just opened up that can accommodate everyone to come in, and they're very willing to help out everybody, make a donation, and to help check out their place. So it's kind of tit for tat. We help them out, they help us out. So we do little fundraisers throughout the year. So I can't tell you all of them right now because some of them are still in production.
Okay.
But you can find everything in on our website.
Cool. Perfect. Well, so then with that, I think it's a great way to segue into this, which is if anybody wants to become part of the organization, whether it be through volunteering, whether it be through sponsoring, donating, being a vendor, or even just a spectator, like what are some of the best ways they can find you and or RD4C?
Okay. Through Instagram, Facebook, it's RD4C.
Just RD4C.
RD4C.
Okay.
And then on my website, rd4c.net. On Facebook, I believe it's RD4C, or you can also go to Rolling Deep, the number 4, Charities.
Okay.
And then you can find us all through there. My email's on the website if you want to get a hold of me. But like I said, just get involved. Get involved. And if you don't want to get involved with my organization, that's fine. Just get involved in an organization where kids are involved, or even battered women, anything that you could do, give back to your community. And let me tell you, God will bless you.
Amen to that, man. Karma.
Karma.
That's the way it works, man.
That's how it works.
That's the way it works, man. Well, hey, Martin, brother, this was such an amazing conversation, brother. I really appreciate you coming in here and sharing everything that you're up to, man. I've had, I'm going to say, the honor and the privilege of being at some of your events already, including the Hogfest from, I think last year I was there, man. And I just really want to acknowledge you for everything that you're up to, right? Like I get that and maybe I get this because I'm a business owner, right? But I get that there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, right? Like so much that goes on that people just don't see, that if they just knew what went into it, they would absolutely know that there was no other benefit for you personally other than the gratitude you get and the blessings that you get from being a contribution to others. Because anything other than that, I'm sure if they seen, they'd believe it's not worth it, right? It's not worth it, right?
People have said that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've helped out one organization. It went well, but it was a lot of work. And they told me that after the event, I goes, I don't know how you do it. They did it one more year after that, a little smaller scale, a year after that, and it stopped. It's too much work.
It's a lot of work. I've seen it. I've been part of it, right?
Well,
I've seen it.
Talking about that, I also want to thank you and all of your barbers that were able to come out and help out at a Rosarito run. I don't know how many haircuts did you do?
I don't know. We did. I mean,
how many hours?
Close to 100. I mean, we did a few hours, and I'm not gonna lie, we were a little hungover, but that's not happening again this year, right? But no, we had Jasmine there, we had Christian there. Who else? We had let me see, David. Who else was cutting with us that day? I don't know, but there's videos, right? I think we posted videos on our Instagram and stuff like that. And one thing that you said earlier was like, it's not just the kids you help, right? And I got to really see that at that Rosarito event, that even the adults were getting medical care. We were cutting even some adults' hair because you could just tell that they were. I remember having one guy sit down on my chair and he was like, "Oh my God, like, thank you guys so much because a visit to the barbershop nowadays for the 4 of us.
Ah,
Yeah, because
I
it was
didn't look at
him.
that
It was
way.
him and his 3 sons, right? So a visit for him to the
Wow.
barbershop wasn't an easy one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it wasn't just him or one kid. Like when he goes to the barbershop, it was 4. And so for him to be contributed to with that, like for him was huge, right? So I really got to see that it is a contribution not just for the children, but for almost anybody that's involved.
Well, I appreciate all of you, your time and effort for going out there and bringing a smile to these kids and getting the haircuts. And let's not forget, this year will be our 20-year anniversary Rosarito run.
20-year
20
anniversary.
years. Yeah.
So you've been going to Rosarito for 20 years now, doing
No
the
longer than that,
same
but
thing.
yeah, this event has just grown. I mean, this is, like I said, I'm at 4 or 5 different states. Every year I meet somebody new from a different state.
What is the date of this event? Can we get some information about this? Like the Rosarito run?
Rosarito run is going to be happening September 12th, which is a Thursday,
And my birthday.
and the 15th, which will be a Sunday. So it's all going to be happening at Papa's and Beer. You can get tickets through Eventbrite. Just type in Rosarito Beach Run or go to my website, which is rd4c.net, and the link will take you right to it. So yeah, I want everybody there this year.
Cool, man. Well, hey, for anybody who's interested in either being a sponsor, being a vendor, donating monetarily, donating bikes, donating toys, whatever way you see that you can contribute, or even if you want to donate time, right? Like if you want to be part of these events and actually attend them and help with the production of them, things like that, please get a hold of Martin at rd4c.net. Because I believe if any of us take anything from the conversation that Martin and I just had, is that being a contribution will pretty much catapult you. It doesn't matter where you've came from, how your parents were, how your upbringing was, like how much money you have, how much you don't. Start by being a contribution, right? If you can just be a contribution and continue being a contribution, it's just like when you plant a seed for an orange tree and you water it and you water it and you water it. Eventually, it gives you fruit, and it doesn't just give you the one seed. It gives you the entire fucking tree, right? So if it doesn't matter where you're at in life, start by being a contribution. Continue being a contribution. Let that seed grow, and you will have an abundance. Right? And I strongly believe that that's the way it works. So whether it's, like Martin said, through RD4C or any other charity that you do, go out and be a contribution, water that seed, it will grow, right? So if that calls any of you guys, hit up Martin, right? And if you guys start to help any other organizations, hit me up. Give me feedback. I would love to see how it goes, because I am a strong believer in that we get the most through being a contribution. Right. And so if you guys see that, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Right. With that, Martin, is there anything you'd like to leave us with before we get off the air?
Just remember to pay it forward. I'll leave it there.
Awesome. Martin, brother, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I appreciate having you here. I'm sure my guests appreciate having you watch this. Yes. And with that said, I would like to thank our one and only sponsor, which is the Original Clip Joint Barbershop. We have 2 locations, one in the city of Covina, one in the city of San Dimas. Just go to ogclipjoint.com. You can book an appointment online or over the phone. If you call over the phone, you'll be speaking to me directly, and you'll be able to make these appointments at no extra cost. So if you're in the San Gabriel Valley and you need a cut, ogclipjoint.com, and we'd love to take care of you guys. So with that said, Martin, pleasure, brother. I appreciate you. And for everybody else, stay blessed, smile every chance you get. Tune in, and I love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Yee.
All right, buddy.
There you go, baby.
Right.
How was that?
That was great.